Alright guys, I'm out here on the Bonafide SS107 with the MotorGuide Xi3 with pinpoint, and I'm going to show you guys how I set it up where it's easily able to stow and deploy. And normally I think a lot of people are either pushing it with their foot or their paddle or something to get it to deploy. I came up with a pretty neat solution. All it takes is a bungee cord and 2 zip ties. That's it, and it will deploy itself. So we got the camera back here. I'm gonna give you the over the shoulder shot of that. Got my little handle here down at the bottom here. My handle here like this. This pulls that down. This spins it. As you can see, I'm using the rope under the head to align it straight, and that's it. That's how it is stowed pretty easily. It does take 2 hands. You got a rope in this hand to kind of guide and pull it, and you got this one to release the foot pedal. Now to deploy, I'm just going to hold this up here. Again, grab down here. See the bungee takes it. And I'll give you an up-close shot in the garage of that. But it's just a bungee. And then I just drop it down, let my handle there, and now we're moving. Just like that. Pretty neat, and you can do this on any kayak, essentially any kayak. Anyone that you can mount a bow-mount trolling motor to, but with one objective that's almost every popular kayak out there. And you just work it the same exact way. Easy stow and deploy. You don't have to mess with anything with a paddle or anything like that. And trying to have 3 hands. All you need is your one hand on this cable, one hand on this cable, and it pushes itself off, which is a lot easier than having, the pull handle in this hand, the one that makes sure it doesn't just drop in. You want to guide it into the water, so you got that in your hand, and then you got to use your foot or a paddle or whatever you can get to push it off. So as simple as just a little bungee cord and some zip ties, and it pulls itself in the water. Alright guys, so I'm back in the garage here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This zip tie right here, I got this idea from Gene Jensen. This keeps this wire, which is the pinpoint wire, which is your spot lock essentially. That keeps this from being stuck down in here, and then you won't be able to pull the motor up and all that. So you zip tie this to this wire. It keeps it up and out of this little cavity for when you pull the motor up. This zip tie is wrapped around that bungee. I just tied a knot on each side of the bungee. Up here, zoom out a little bit. As you can see, I have it running on the inside. And this bungee just gives just enough friction on this big cable here that when you hit this button, it slides down, see? So yeah, it just gives just enough friction on this wire to pull the trolling motor down and out. So no more hitting it with the paddle, no more kicking it, pushing it in any way. You just pull this lever that pulls the foot action down, and the bungee does the rest, and it'll push you right into the water. The next thing you will need, I'll link this in the description below. This is for like Garmin Panoptix transducer for our mount for trolling motor for their transducer. So normally there's a little knob that goes here, and there's like a piece of rubber that you put on the inside of this, and then you tighten it all the way down so it doesn't move. But this, you leave the rubber piece out, you leave the knob off, you feed your rope through that hole, tie a knot, and then this swivels. So when you spot lock or pinpoint, whatever you anchor, this swivels freely and doesn't wrap your rope up. This also allows you to turn it, and like I said earlier, use this rope right here to kind of get underneath the head right here, and you can spin the head so it stows properly like that right there. You will need this. Just tying a rope around it does not do the trick. So that's what you need. This is just how I have my MotorGuide Xi3 set up on my SS107. Stay tuned because I'm going to have videos comparing this to the Autopilot 120 that I used to have.
pros and cons of each one of those, head to head of each one of those. So stay tuned for more coverage on the Xi3, and I'll see you guys in the next one.